Welcome back to another episode of Satisfactory Update 8. And on this episode, we're going to start diving into some of the more technology-based builds that we've been working towards here in our Mega Factory 2.0. And the first thing we're going to dive into is some circuit boards, as well as we are going to dive into, I need to get my Raw Quarts taken care of into Quartz Crystal. And also, I really would like to try to dive into getting some computers manufactured. So sit back, relax, and let's jump into it. So the first thing we are going to work on is our circuit board manufacturing. And as you can see right here, we do have copper sheeting available for us to be able to manufacture with. We're going to be taking some of this copper sheeting and we're going to pull it off into a assembly line to be able to make our circuit boards. We're going to combine it with a bunch of plastic, and I think we need to make what is it? It's going to be like 1,080 of our plastic, and it's about 540 of our copper sheets. And I'm not entirely sure exactly what that is going to work out to. Let me just see the math on that to work out to circuit boards. We're going to be making about 270 circuit boards out of that. So it's not going to be a huge factory, but it is one that we do have to dive into. So first things first is I'm going to try to get the copper sheeting closer to where we're actually going to be using it, which is over near where our plastic is being stored. We have a bunch of plastic coming from our oil refineries that's all being stored over there. We're going to go grab that and get that set up. So I'm currently over here at our rubber and plastic manufacturing plant that's kind of over in this swampy land on the map. We are located right around here, this little crater that's out here. And this is where our plastic is set up, and we're just got to find the right location to be able to build everything here. So in total, we have 1,660 of the plastic. We need a total of a minimum of 1,080 plastics. So we'll have to figure out exactly what's going to be the best way to pull the amount of plastic from here that we are requiring. So let's have a quick look at what we're going to be looking at for the recipe that we are working with. So we're just going with the standard recipe for making circuit boards, which is 15 copper sheets and 30 plastic. So it is a really easy number to work with for 780 item per minute conveyors. So we'll be able to handle our materials fairly well with this. And I'm thinking what my plan of attack is with this is I'm going to bring my 2 full lines of plastic up here. So that's going to be a total of like 1,560. Now I only need 1,080 of that, but we'll set up an awesome sink to be able to receive the rest of that plastic. And then, of course, our plastic itself too will get combined with the little bit of leftover that's down there. And we'll end up having that ready to go for the next manufacturing line, but it'll be fed into an awesome sink so that we don't end up with, we don't want our refineries down here backing up at all, because not only will it affect the plastic and rubber production, but also the power generation that we're doing with our petroleum generation that we're doing down here. We have a bunch of the fuel generators all set up down here that are generating some power for us. We don't want these to back up at all, so we need to make sure that we have, a good, solid, steady use of the materials that are going through here. So we're going to be pulling this plastic up. I'm going to build just basically a little elevator system that's going to move the products up this way, and we're going to move them up to this platform up here. And we're going to be building up there kind of away from this manufacturing line, and then we'll bring the copper sheeting in and make sure that we have everything all set up seamlessly so that we're not having any product backing up. Okay, so I've ran the conveyor bus further along the line here where the coal is traveling along here, and then we're bringing the plastic. It's going to come up here through this long elevator chain, and then we start distributing. And I have put, in total, I think it's 36 assemblers that we're going to need. So we have 6 floors of 6 assemblers in here that we've got geared up for what we are going to be consuming for making our circuit boards. So now I need to just kind of get geared up with building the logistics for this to try to get everything all set up exactly how we want it. So first things first is, getting in your splitters. Of course, I don't want to use smart splitters. I just want to use standard splitters for there. And we're bringing the plastic in along the bottom, and then the next row up is going to be our copper sheeting. So we're just going to run along like this. Oops, delete that one. So basically, you're stacking up the one so that you can get that second height up on the splitters. So the bottom line is going to feed our plastic in here. The next line up is going to feed our copper sheeting, and then it reverses when we go up to the next level here. Copper sheeting will be on the bottom, plastic will be on the top, and then we reverse again. And that's just so that we can manage our elevators that are going to be moving the products up and down between the various floors here. And so to do that, I'm going to be using, of course, conveyor holes here, similar to how we did on our quick wire assembly that we've got over there. And we're going to use Mark V conveyors for the distribution of this, because this is going to continue on that way. And so just so that the conveyors don't end up crossing with each other, we're going to have our copper sheeting is going to feed in this way into the elevator here. And then it comes up, and now it's on the bottom level on this floor. So same thing for our plastic. We're coming in on the bottom level here, and then it goes up and then out this way. Hopefully I set those up there. I didn't really pay attention to the arrows as I was putting those down. So let's see if we can connect some conveyors along this. Yeah, it works. We've got the conveyors going in the right direction. So that is how we are distributing our plastic and copper sheeting along here. Of course, for the recipe on this circuit boards, it's 30 plastic and 15 copper sheets, which actually works out to, I think it's 26. One line of 780 items per minute of plastic is 26 of the copper, or 26 assemblers. We'll look after that. And then 10 more assemblers at the top to be able to use up our 540 of our copper sheeting that we're using. So let me get the rest of these all in place here, and then we'll start running some materials through it. Of course, as I'm getting geared up to bring some of the products over to here, I do have some trees that I got to get rid of, and what better way to do that than Nobilis time. And you know what? All these little shrubs and stuff, I don't mind getting rid of these via explosives, because I don't need the wood or leaves or biomass or anything like that at all. So what I'm working on here now is I got to get the conveyor system that's going to bring our copper sheeting from our copper factory, which is way off into the distance over there. We're going to bring it along this conveyor bus here, bring it down, and then it's going to end up coming along here and feeding through and connecting in line with everything else here. So that's what I'm working on right now. All right, so everything is now built and in place. We've got our input lines of plastic that are flowing up here that graphically every once in a while, I don't know what's going on with update 8, but these conveyors are running, but then every once in a while they just disappear. Like, there they go. They disappeared again. A little glitch. I'm sure by the time update moves over to the production server that will be corrected, but we have our input side here where the plastic is flowing in. We have one line of 780 items per minute. I did try doing a little bit of like balancing and stuff that was here. It just wasn't working exactly as I hoped it would. So there's a couple of extra little components in here. I was trying to eliminate some of the stutters in the line. But I think now that things are just kind of flowing a little bit better, that I think the stutters are kind of out of it. I don't think it's anything that I need to be concerned with the occasional little gap in the production lines. So we've got our input line of plastic. Plastic is getting distributed all through our 6 floors. We have 36 assemblers in total here. And then we have our one line of copper sheeting that's flowing through. And the one line of copper sheeting does all of the assemblers that are here. I then have some overflow set up for both the plastic and the copper sheeting, that if there's anything overflowing, it's dumping into awesome sinks for us. And that's basically so that we don't ever have to worry about our oil or fuel productions getting backed up because of an influx of plastic building up here. And then output side, we have everything all being run through. We start from the bottom, we work our way up, we accumulate all of the circuit boards. It rotates through from layer to layer until we get all the way over to this side, and then it shoots all the way back down to the bottom again, and then over, and it's being dumped into an awesome sink. So that's taking care of circuit boards. Circuit boards are complete. At some point, I might actually build some type of a building around this. But all in all, it's functional. It's working well. It's 100% efficient. We have no hang-ups with plastic production. So it keeps our oil refinery working the way it's supposed to. So really happy with the way that's going. So the next thing we got to work on now is our Pure Quartz. I'm going to be working on. It's an alternate recipe. Pure Quartz, where we're using refineries and, of course, Quartz Crystal and water to be able to produce, or Raw Quarts to be able to produce Quartz Crystal. In total, I'm going to need 877.5 Raw Quartz for this. You know, that's going to end up rounding out to, 2 full lines of 780, unless I get like a pure node and a normal node. Then we might, kind of split that up into a couple of different sizes. And I think like right around here somewhere, I believe we should have some quartz that I can work with. Actually, I think it's just over here. In this area right here, I believe we have some quartz nodes that we can work with. So we're going to be taking, if I can't use these quartz nodes, I know that there's some in a cave way off into the distance. And of course, we've hit an autosave, so we kind of have to let that. Oh no, autosave was over. It was just a graphic glitch as we were cruising along here. But here we have 3 nodes of quartz. Now I just cannot remember what they are. So we're just going to quickly whip down here, have a look at these and see what is what. So we have a normal node. We have another normal node. We have 3 normal nodes that we can work with here. So, okay, that should be fine. We can just take 2 of these nodes. That's 1200 quartz. Now we'll turn that into Pure Quartz for us. So I guess I got to get some miners set up here, and then we've got to end up getting all of this up to the highway, because I'm going to end up building our quartz production facility over near the water where our aluminum is getting built, which is... So try looking in which direction? This direction. You get into that fog, you get turned around. Over here, we've got all this water in area here, so we're going to set up our quartz production over there. But I've got to get the quartz from here up and over to that. All right, we have installed our Mark III miners. I've overclocked them all, and we are getting 1800. I know I said we only needed like 800 and something for doing these, but quite frankly, when you have 3 nodes close together like this, why not overproduce? And you'll notice I've upgraded to 8.2, and I think it's actually 8.2.1 on the experimental branch, and products moving on the conveyors look differently now. I don't know if this is by intent or if this was one of the fixes in there, but I'm thinking it's to improve the overall performance because it kind of cuts down on the... I'm thinking it's probably something to do with the entity count. But these are... It's much more blurred. And I'm wondering... Now, this is just with the quartz that I'm seeing this. I have other production lines of other materials up here that I'm going to have a look at to see if this same kind of thing is happening. And it is. Like, there is a blurring effect with items that are cycling through on the conveyors now. That I'm thinking this is by design to improve performance. It's got to be, because hey, it looks really cool seeing the items just kind of, they're going by so fast that unless you like stop to look at them, and it just gives you like a focused beam look at that particular spot, but the rest of it is just blurred out. And I think that's going to have something to do with the entity counts, but don't quote me on that. I'm sure there's an explanation in the patch notes that I didn't read because I'm too freaking lazy and too busy to sit there and read them. But we've got all of our quartz now. So we are sitting with 1,800 quartz. Of course, we still have sections of the conveyor where it goes blank. So they didn't fix that at all, where the materials are just not visible, but the items transporting across the conveyors are a little bit different. But now we got to focus on what we're going to do with this 1,800 quartz, and we are going to convert that into pure quartz. So we get pure quartz crystals out of this, and we're going to be setting it up in this area here. And I have merged and combined those 3 lines together so that we have 2 lines of 780 items per minute and 1 line of 240 items per minute. So now I've got to set up what it's going to look like with our refineries. And we're going to have to build a little bit more of a platform here to be able to support all of this. So first off, let's make our platform here a little bit bigger so it's easier to work with. And remember to turn on Zoop so that it's easier to build with. And we're going to grab a refinery, and I want to just have a look at that recipe for pure quartz to look at how much of each material we're going to be dealing with for this. So we are going to pure quartz, alternate recipe right here. It takes 67.5 quartz per minute, raw quartz per minute, and 37.5 of water. Now I'm thinking if we underclock this to, so that we get this to 60 items per minute, because if we go 780 divided by 67, try that again, 67.5. That's like 11.5 of those. But if we divide it by 60, it's actually 13 refineries to look after 1 line. And that leftover line is 240 divided by 60. If I could type that right, that's 4. So we're going to be 26, 30 refineries to be able to convert that 1,800 quartz into pure quartz crystals. So that's where I'm going to get this done, is I'm going to get this lined up into 30 of these refineries underclocked to that 60 point. So where does underclocking that get us to? Let's try 48 per minute. That's 61. So let's try 45 per minute. Nope, too low. We'll take this to 46. 47. That's still a little bit too high. We're going 46.5. We're trying to get this to that 60 mark. Let us go to 0.6%. Nope. Is it 89% is what we have to have it at? No, 89 is still slightly too high. 8.9. Still a little bit too high. 8.8. Too low. So it's going to be like 8.8. Repeated is what it is. So that's what we're going to set the underclock to, and that takes us to 60 quartz per minute, and we'll be able to balance this out to 30 refineries. So let's get these built. We have all 30 of our refineries all set up, and I've got the input materials for our raw quartz all fed in and distributed equally across, as well as I've copied and pasted the recipe on here. They're all set to 88.89, 88889, whichever number you want to go with, so that it's using a 60 raw materials input. So now we got to get the water set up on here. So we got to set up some distributions for water pumps. And so the way it works out with our current percentage that we have it underclocked to is it's 33.3 repeated water per minute that's going into them, which divides into 18 of the refineries can be run off of 2 water pumps. So we're going to set up 2 water pumps to take care of 18, and then I'll probably end up setting up another 2. So actually, just to make things nice and even, I think I'll just divide this in half. I'll do 15 and 15. We'll set up 2 water pumps. There'll be plenty of water. There will be no, we don't have to worry about any backlog of water. So it'll be 600 water going into 15 each unit, so it'll be 400 water pumps we're going to set up. Then that way, I know everything's full, nothing will starve out with water, and we'll never run into any issues with fluid distribution. Okay, I have the water infrastructure all in place now, so water is all getting pumped in, and we've got these things all filled up. They are making our quartz crystal for us. It is 4 water extractors getting divided over the 30 refineries that we've got set up here. So now I just need to set up some output logistics on these and have them all dumping into an awesome sink so that we can use them for later. All right, all the output has been set up here. I'm feeding it out of the refineries using Mark 1 belts because we are only making 46.7 pure quartz per refinery. So we're using Mark 1 belts out. They're merging together. And then it's a Mark 5 line that's running down that's feeding this all down, heading into an awesome sink. And as you can see here, we've got that blur effect again happening here on these conveyor belts. Actually, I don't mind it. I think I like the way it looks. It's not bad, and it's even kind of present in the slower moving belts. There's just a slight fuzz to them when you're looking off into the distance, and I got a feeling that it's strictly going to be a performance thing, is what that is. So we're feeding down here. We've got our 780 item per minute line is going into the second awesome sink here, and then the remainder is getting dumped into this one here. So all in all, let's see, what are we making? We got 30 of these things times 46.6667. We're making 1,400 pure quartz that's getting dumped into awesome sinks. So we are cooking along. Now it's trying to figure out, okay, what are we building next? We've finished our we've got the pure quartz is all done now. We also have the circuit boards all complete. So now I guess like computers, I guess would be the next one we'll look at, which is going to be circuit boards, cables, plastic, and screws. And that is going to be our first manufacturer that we're going to be building with. So let's figure out where we're going to set up that production line. So all in all, the factory we're going to be looking at is going to be making 10 computers for us. So we're going to have to figure out what we're going to need for materials for that. And to pull that off, it's going to be 250 circuit boards, 225 cable, 450 plastic, and 1,300 screws is what we're going to be dealing with. And since we're going to be pulling the screws is the most materials we're going to be using, somewhere near our screw factory might be the ideal place to build this. And then we have to have ready access to our cabling that's over here, our circuit boards that are built kind of way off into the distance. Way over there is where the circuit boards... Oh, wait, nope. Let's zoom in here. Let's go with our camera zoom. I think, yeah, the circuit boards are actually getting built right there on that small little tower that's there. As well as we need to pull plastic from there as well. So if we centrally distribute here between screws, plastic and circuit boards, and our copper cabling, somewhere right around here might actually be the ideal place to be able to build this. And since we're bringing the plastic and screws up, we'll use this conveyor bus that's right here. So I'm thinking it looks like this area here has volunteered to be our factory that's going to be looking after building these. So let me get a platform set up for this. And here we have our computer manufacturing line. So we're set up here with 10 assemblers. We have feeding in 2 conveyor lines that are handling our screws. We have 1 conveyor line for plastic, another one for circuit boards, and another one for copper cabling. And as you can see, we've got that blur effect that's happening with the latest patch update to try to cut down on entity counts, and it seems to be improving performance overall. But yeah, depending on how you're looking, you can barely see anything moving on a conveyor line. So, but here we are making our 25 computers per minute, and then we have awesome sinks set up to dump any of our excess materials, screws, plastic, cabling, and circuit boards getting dumped into awesome sinks that aren't getting consumed in this production line. And then, of course, we have the computers all getting dumped into an awesome sink here until they get used later on. So, all in all, we have completed 3 additional factories in this episode. We've completed our Pure Quartz factory that's headed way off into the distance over there. You can just barely see it. We've got our circuit board factory way off in the distance that way. And we have our computer manufacturing all taken care of here. Now this is our first production line that's actually using manufacturers. So guys, reach down, hit that like button on the video. I would greatly appreciate it. And if you could, leave a comment, let me know what you think of our progress on our mega factory here. We are creeping closer and closer to nuclear power as we're moving along here. Subscribe if you are new to the channel, and don't forget to ring that notification bell so you can be notified when a new video has been uploaded. And with as reliable as YouTube notifications are, make sure you're following me on Instagram and Twitter and Threads. With that all said, you guys have yourself a fantastic day, and we're going to see you in the next episode. Bye for now.